ساتوی پسروینو داد شهیدانو کور داد باتورانو کور داد باتورانو کور داد باتورانو کور داد باتورانو کور ساتوی پسروینو داد شهیدانو کور داد کور داد باتورانو.
Good evening. Today is Saturday, August 16, 2025. I'm Suleiman Talash and you're watching English News Bulletin from RTA News. Let's dive into today's news updates. Interior Minister Khalifa Sirajuddin Haqqani says the Islamic Emirate remains committed to the Doha Agreement and asserts that no armed groups operate in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, the Deputy Prime Minister for Administrative Affairs emphasizes that the government does not interfere in other countries' internal affairs and expects the same in return. More details in this report.
At the ceremony marking the 4th anniversary of the conquest, Interim Minister Khalifa Sirajuddin Haqqani stated that over the past 4 years, the Islamic Emirate has shown the world that Afghan territory is not being used against any country, and he urged nations not to hold Afghanistan responsible for their internal issues.
The current state, as promised and committed in Doha, has stated that we will act accordingly to our commitment. We have expressed these positions in international forums, within the country, to our neighbors and to regional countries as well, that we will resolve our problems ourselves.
In this meeting, the Deputy Prime Minister for Administrative Affairs urged Afghans living abroad to return home and lead a dignified life alongside their citizens.
ما هیچگاه نمی‌خواهیم با امورات داخلی دیگر کشورها مداخله کنیم.
We never intend to interfere in the internal affairs of other countries, and we expect the same from them. To some of our fellow citizens who, due to certain concerns, have gone abroad, we say security, peace and stability have now been established in Afghanistan. We invite them to return safely to their homeland.
At the same time, the Minister of Foreign Affairs emphasized that the Islamic Emirate is fully independent in its decisions and clarified that establishing ties with one country does not imply hostility toward others.
From now on, we will engage in hostility between one country and another. Afghanistan will no longer be a field for the negative rivalries of superpowers. Instead, it will become a center of economic connectivity and integration.
Interior Minister Khalifa Sirajuddin Haqqani condemned the Zionist regime's atrocities against oppressed Palestinians, urging Muslims worldwide to take action to prevent such abuses.
Afghanistan resumed global trade 4 years ago despite restrictions on its routes. Since then, the Islamic Emirates economy-focused policies and positive engagement have expanded exports beyond the region to Europe and America, with trade now reaching over 100 countries. Here is a detailed story.
Afghanistan's 4-year trade journey has seen many challenges, but gradually, the country managed to overcome closed routes and expand its connections beyond Asia, reaching markets in Europe and America.
Afghanistan currently trades with more than 100 countries.
When the Islamic Emirate regained control of Afghanistan, trade routes were closed, banks came under sanctions, and the country's assets were frozen abroad. Despite these challenges, Afghanistan has managed to increase its trade volume to nearly $13 billion.
Before the Islamic Emirate, total trade was around $7.5 billion, which has now reached nearly $13 billion. During the previous government, exports never exceeded $850 million. However, in the past 3 years, they have reached $2 billion.
Pakistan, Iran, India, China, Russia and Uzbekistan are currently Afghanistan's key trading partners. The Islamic Emirate is also working to open new trade routes and improve port standards to facilitate Afghan traders.
The Islamic Emirate seeks to expand trade routes through international transport networks and increase exports to European and regional countries by following international standards and regulations.
The Chamber of Commerce and Investment, tasked with removing trade barriers and supporting traders, says Afghanistan's global ties were cut off 4 years ago, but today the country is moving forward faster than ever.
When
the Islamic Emirate came to power, Afghanistan's global connections had been cut off, leaving thousands of containers stranded abroad. Within 3 months, trade ties were restored and exports resumed. Afghanistan has a long history of exports worldwide, including to Australia, India, and the United States, especially in handicrafts that have been renowned for centuries.
In addition to expanding trade with regional, neighboring, and global countries, the Islamic Emirate has focused heavily on developing industry. Today, Afghanistan is self-sufficient in many sectors, with thousands of factories operating and a growing number of locally manufactured goods being exported abroad.
Compared to the previous government, greater support has been given to industries, leading to 1,500 factories becoming operational. With land distribution, another 1,000 factories are expected to be established in 1 year, bringing the total to about 2,500.
Although challenges remain for Afghan trade, the Islamic Emirates' ongoing efforts are gradually reconnecting Afghanistan to regional and global countries and markets, moving the country closer to economic independence.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of National Defense marked the 4th anniversary of the Islamic Emirates' victory over US and allied forces with military exercises and celebrations across Kabul. Thousands of residents joined in, laying flowers on roads, displaying national flags on their cars, and enjoying sports performances organized by the National Directorate of Olympics and Physical Education. Take a look at a detailed story.
The Ministry of National Defense marked the 4th anniversary of the Islamic Emirates' victory by laying flowers at 5 key locations across Kabul.
I congratulate the Afghan nation on this great day of independence and pray that peace, security, and freedom remain permanent in Afghanistan. Whenever anyone has tried to invade our country, we have always responded and will continue to do so.
Citizens across the country also commemorated the day by scattering flowers on Kabul's street and displaying national flags on their vehicles.
We have our freedom, and the defeat of America and NATO by the Islamic Emirate is a cause of pride and joy. Independence Day is a day of great happiness, marking the defeat of the world's superpower 4 years ago.
At the same time, athletes from the National Directorate of the Olympics and Physical Education marked the day with public sports demonstration on the streets of Kabul.
For this day, countless young people sacrificed their lives, endured hardships, and gave everything to achieve independence.
Meanwhile, several other departments of Islamic Emirate also marked the day with special ceremonies.
A technical review meeting on customs activities for the month of Sarwatan and the current fiscal year was held under the chairmanship of the Director General of Customs at the Ministry of Finance, both in person and online. Participants discussed measures taken so far and exchanged views on preventing smuggling, clearing outstanding balances promptly, addressing traders' concerns, and other related issues. The repair of 2 water supply networks in the Amman district of Kandahar province, valued at more than 2.5 million Afghanis, has been completed and put into operation by the Provincial Directorate of Rural Rehabilitation and Development. Local officials said the project provided temporary employment for dozens of workers during construction, and with its completion, nearly 200 local families now have access to safe drinking water. And the final one reads that the construction of a water supply network in the Sarkot district of Nangarhar province, valued at more than 2.5 million Afghanis, has been completed and inaugurated by the Provincial Directorate of Rural Rehabilitation and Development. According to the Directorate, with the completion of this project, more than 150 local families now have access to safe drinking water. That's all for tonight. Stay tuned to the latest news updates from RTA News. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.
ساتوی پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتوی پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا